Coming up, the airplane that wins world championships. We look at the Zivco Edge 540 V3.
An inside view of an airplane giveaway. We're there as a Texas flying club gets a free airplane from AOPA. And flying on no fuel, a California group figures out how to do cross-country training in electric airplanes.
And is this the new George? Imagine this dude as your co-pilot. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.
What could possibly be better than a free airplane? Hello and welcome to AOPA Live this week. I'm Melissa Rudinger.
And I'm Tom Haynes. Thanks for giving us some of your time. And it certainly was a good time in Texas late last week. That's because a local flying club was surprised with a free reimagined Cessna 150 from AOPA.
And AOPA Live's Warren Morningstar tells us more.
Okay, we admit it. We like to try to surprise people when we're about to give them an airplane. This time, it's a reimagined Cessna 150 going to the winners of the AOPA Flying Club 150 giveaway. So we roped AOPA Ambassador Pat Brown into the ruse. He told the ABEL Flying Club he was going to put them in touch with an AOPA attorney to help them form their 501c nonprofit. We set up a Skype call with the, quote, attorney.
Hey guys, my name's Mark Baker, President and CEO of AOPA.
And I understand you guys represent the ABEL Flying Club, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you just found out just now that you got that 150s headed your way.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
And the ABEL Flying Club has big plans for their new airplane.
So it means unlimited opportunity for our future future generation of aviators. We hopefully like to open up our club to fellow youth that are 15, 16, 17 and continue to fly kids for Nate in the memory of Nathan Abel.
You see, Nate Abel loved kids and flying.
But this is awesome for a lot of kids. That's what Nate would want, and he'd be really proud of this.
And he was such a good ambassador for kids, taking them up and flying them. With my son, the impact he had on us was immeasurable because he kicked my son's flying career off. He was, unfortunately for my son, he was the last young eagle flown by Nate. But in the short time they stayed, kept in contact through his illness, he kind of took the banner from Nate to carry that forward.
Nate passed away 3 years ago, but every year now there is a Fly Kids for Nate event that raises money for aviation scholarships. And that's the kind of community that flying clubs can help create.
Flying Clubs initiative, which is really one of the best ways to stay active and flying because you can share the cost of ownership. It's the most cost-effective way to stay flying, and you have a built-in community.
And that's why AOPA helped set up flying clubs as part of its You Can Fly initiative.
The entire industry can agree that we really need to focus on turning the pilot population around, and our initiatives are not aimed at just one aspect of our pilot population. They're aimed at different aspects of a pilot's life cycle. And there's not a single silver bullet, one program that's going to solve the pilot population issue, but we think these initiatives, these 4 initiatives, are very targeted and will hopefully together turn this around.
And for the Nate Abel Flying Club, You Can Fly means they can turn things around for a lot of kids.
Just an amazing day.
In Fort Worth, Texas, Warren Morningstar, AOPA Live.
And you can find out about all of the components of the AOPA You Can Fly initiative on our website.
AOPA is going to court to save you money, or at least we hope we'll be in court. The Supreme Court, as a matter of fact. AOPA is asking the Supreme Court to hear a product liability case. A Cessna 172 crashed in 2005, killing the pilot. His wife filed suit, and the federal jury concluded that the carburetor wasn't designed right, even though it met FAA certification standards. AOPA says juries can't substitute their opinions for FAA certification.
But we can't have a situation where 50 different states can issue design rules for an aircraft. but we think it's a very compelling circumstance, particularly for aircraft owners and operators, which are our membership, because ultimately, you know who's going to end up paying. The ultimate payor is going to be the owner or lessor of that aircraft.
No word yet if the court will hear the case. It's going to be an interesting one way or the other, Melissa.
Yeah, so you have some background in this, and in fact, you had a hand in crafting our argument.
I did.
Can you tell us about
I was involved in kind of reviewing the brief, wrote some things that some of which a little bit got incorporated into it. I did my master's thesis on the effect of product liability on general aviation, and it has been massive. I mean, the hidden costs that are associated with product liability in general aviation are massive and really something we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, well, stay tuned. Hopefully they'll hear the case.
Yeah, I hope so.
And a couple of stories of AOPA stepping in to advocate on other issues important to pilots. The FAA has just released a list of 125 instrument approach procedures that will be decommissioned in November. That's because they are either duplicates of other approaches or were based on ground nav aids that are being taken out of service. AOPA worked on the committee that set the cancellation criteria, and the association is advocating for a minimum VOR network to allow IFR aircraft to continue to navigate if there's a GPS outage. In Maine, AOPA has asked the FAA to stop construction of a second oyster farm just 2 miles from Hancock Bar Harbor Airport. Oyster farms attract seabirds, and as Captain Sully can attest, waterfowl and airplanes just don't mix. AOPA asked FAA to issue a determination of hazard.
The weather is what you find in aviation, and sometimes it just blows, literally. The Red Bull Air Race in Las Vegas faced some serious winds over the weekend. Gusts higher than 30 knots shut down the action. Qualifying rounds were dropped, and the field started the race based on points standing. But Mother Nature wasn't done yet. Before the round of 14 could finish, the gusts were back, ending the race. The World Championship is based on points earned during the season. 2 out of the 3 podium finishers this year, including the world champion, have something in common.
They each fly a hot rod airplane built right here in the U.S. Paul Harrop takes us inside the Zivco Edge 540 V3.
To win, you have to be the best. And to be the best on the world stage of the Red Bull Air Race Series, you need to be fast, precise, and nimble. The best pilots in the world come to Guthrie, Oklahoma to have Zivco Aeronautics build the almighty Edge 540 V3.
The airplanes are just very, very fast, very clean.
The Edge was born in the late 80s as a wing. Competition acro pilots wanted an all-composite wing to replace their wooden sparred ones. And from there, the design grew around the wing structure in 1993.
Hannes Harch was the first customer from Europe that we had.
Other pilots, like 2016 world champion Matthias Dolderer, caught on early.
And then over the time it has proven that this is the aircraft to go for.
And a lot of it is due to that wing.
I like actually the stiff wing.
That's what makes the Edge so great for the air race, is that the wing is so special, right? You could probably pull 20 Gs at 210 knots in this airplane. It just doesn't let go, which is what really has made it a great race plane. And then Eric, with the V3 and then all of the mods that we've done to these airplanes over the years, have made it even better.
Race teams like that it's easy to modify the airplane to suit their needs, and few teams have done as much work to improve upon the V3 design as Team Goulian.
We spent an unbelievable amount of energy on winglets, cooling design, reducing the drag of the airplane, trying to get it a little bit lighter. And
Team Goulian even went so far to cut down every screw on the airplane to save weight. It all builds upon a solid airplane.
They're just responsive. The airplane doesn't do anything that you don't tell it to do. But when you tell it to do something, it does it. It has the capability of doing it very quickly.
But Dolderer says don't overlook the pilot's skill.
And actually it's the pilot who is the most important. And if you have a fast plane and a slow pilot, then you're still slow.
Fortunately for him, that's no problem at all.
Germany are the world champions, and our world champion is Matthias Dolderer.
Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
The Zivco Edge 540 V3 is an exclusive airplane. Zivco Aeronautics will only build a new one for a Red Bull Air Race Masterclass pilot. So you better get to practicing.
I'll get right on that. When we come back, Christmas is closer than you think. We have some of the gear you might want to find in your stocking.
And imagine this helping you with your cockpit chores. AOPA Live this week continues in a moment.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.
Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live this week.
Electric airplanes are about to leave the traffic pattern in California. A group of partners, including a local flight school, community college, local governments, and Pipistrel Aircraft, are building 4 charging stations for the Alpha Electro at airports around the Central Valley. Instructors will be able to use more than one airplane in a single lesson by flying to an airport, switching to a freshly charged aircraft, and then continuing the flight. They hope to cut the cost of a sport pilot certificate to just $1,500. Read more on our website or in the latest edition of AOPA ePilot.
And here's another glimpse into the future. Aurora Flight Sciences is testing a robotic co-pilot. The goal is to reduce the need for an extra pilot on multi-crew aircraft. The system is designed to work without major alterations to the aircraft, so it can be easily moved to different aircraft. The technology is intended for the military, but it could find its way to civilian aircraft in the future. They're going to test the robot in a Huey as well. So Melissa, don't know, that's a lot of monkey motion going on there with that thing.
Monkey motion, I like that. It looks rather strange.
It's very bizarre.
But they don't want robot aircraft at air shows. The International Council of Air Shows is encouraging event organizers to include a no drone message in their publicity plans. No problems yet, but the airshow folks say they're just being proactive to keep pilots and audiences safe.
And here's a safety enhancement for your airplane. The FAA has just approved Guardian Avionics iPad and iPhone mounts in certified aircraft. This falls under the non-required safety enhancing equipment, or NORSE, that AOPA has been pushing for. The panel mounts include a built-in power supply. A similar but certified model from Guardian is installed in our 172 sweepstakes airplane that you're eligible to win.
And speaking of new products, the November issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine has a special pilot gear section. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran talked to senior editor Al Marsh about a few of the products in the magazine.
So we have just a few of the products here, and I have Al Marsh here. So Al, tell me about what we have here today.
Okay, well, we got 25 products in the magazine, and here are 4 of them. This is a Boeing bag, and this is for a category called student pilot in the article. And the reason I picked it was because it says Boeing on the side. How cool is that? And what a good way to mislead your friends.
Yeah, you can tell them you're going out to 777 instead of the 172, right?
Exactly. So they don't know. Anyway, it's got a beautiful orange interior here, and pretty handy little bag. It's $90. Now here we have an airplane that we previously tested. It is supposed to be non-destructible. It's made of styrofoam, so I guess it's not non-destructible. If you have an elephant in the room, it accidentally steps on it. But I'm going to start it up because it does something neat on startup. If you'll hold that, get my iPhone going here. It operates from an app, and you've got to turn it on.
There we go.
Here we go. It's searching. You get that sound?
Okay.
Now, look at that. It is raring to go. Now, right next to it, we have a 360 fly camera. Fly doesn't mean, oh boy, airplane fly. It means the insect. They've got a picture of a fly on their box. And I had a chance to take that one up. Mm-hmm. It overheated, so I took it out of the window. I put it on the cabin of the, I held it on the cabin of the airplane, and I thought it wasn't working because it broke lock with my iPhone, and that's the way you start it and stop it. It's all internal memory, but it was working. So we do have a couple of seconds of in-flight footage. The rest is me flailing away with it, trying to make it do its thing. There are alternatives. Mm-hmm. In the article, I mentioned the Ricoh camera. It's a Theta, Ricoh Theta, and I talked to a pilot who said that works great. He hung it under a wing, and I saw the shots on his iPhone. It looked great. In the last couple of days, Nikon has come out with a product. They have a 360-degree camera that's brand new. They have a 170-degree, and they have an 80-degree camera view. They start out at about $500. And Nikon makes pretty good products. They know what they're doing. So I would take a look at everything before I got that. but it did work. In its defense, it did work.
Well, there's more and more 360 video out there all the time, so I'm sure there'll be even more cameras like this coming out.
Now, our last product is a replacement for a product that we had earlier when we shot this sequence before. We had a fire starter, and it was so good at what it does, we thought maybe it would start an airplane fire in the air. So we kind of backed off and got one sold by Aircraft Spruce for $25. And I'm going to let you demonstrate that. It's basically you're striking flint, and so you're the striker. You're the official striker.
That's even almost like trying to light the foil on fire.
It's trying to burn up soil.
So you have to be a little bit angry to get it to work, but it does seem to work pretty well. So Al, looks like some of the stuff you have here is pretty neat, and there's even more in the November issue of the Pilot magazine. So thanks, Al.
The digital edition of AOPA Pilot is out now.
So Melissa, any of that going to show up in your stocking?
Well, if I can't get the robotic co-pilot, I am thinking about getting a drone. How about you?
Well, I'm not sure about any of that stuff. I got a lot of things that want to go in my stocking. I need new windows for the airplane. I like some paint, and my engine is over TBO, so I'll take one of those too. But.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
What's better than hot planes, cool cars, and motorcycles? Well, what if they were all at a family-friendly event at the airport? The AOPA National Aviation Community Center is hosting Wings and Wheels on Saturday. It's going to bring a lot of people out to the Frederick Airport who may not normally be exposed to aviation. Mike Woods is the manager of the center, and he's expecting several thousand people.
First time that we've done a show combining aircraft, motorcycles, and automobiles. Classic automobiles. We've got all kinds of cars coming. Right now, almost 50 cars.
The event is free, and if you're in the Mid-Atlantic, we welcome you to fly, ride, or drive in. It's Saturday the 22nd, and it runs from 10 until 2. It's right here on the Frederick Municipal Airport. That's Foxtrot Delta Kilo.
And this final note. For those of you who've been offline and out of touch for a while, yes, the new Samsung Galaxy Note 7 smartphone can catch fire. This week, the FAA issued an emergency order banning Note 7s from air transportation. The order only applies to commercial air transport, but you may want to get out of your 172 as well. Fire in your pocket may just spoil your day no matter what you're flying, and so that's something you probably don't want in your stocking.
Absolutely not.
Thanks for watching AOPA Live this week.
We'll see you again next week.